Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel at Anonymous Productions. I'm here with Chantal again.
Hi, ignore that's the same shirt. We're doing a bunch more videos.
Yeah, we're doing a lot in one go, so don't mind us at all. And then behind the screen is Goblin number 1. Say hi, Goblin.
Hi.
Today we're going to be trying something new. Today we're going to be talking about movies, which me and Chantal love to talk about all the time.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to be talking about how to turn movies into D&D campaigns.
Yeah.
And today we're doing one of my favorite movies in the world.
And my number one favorite
Your
movie.
number one favorite movie, Jaws.
Sorry about that. I had a
Very
cough.
funny, Goblin. All right. So first, let's just do a brief summary. If you are somehow living under a rock and have never heard Jaws, Chantal, you want to take it away about what Jaws is about?
Yeah, Jaws is basically a movie about you can think of it in DN terms, a village that is being attacked by a monster, and a trio of heroes are called upon to save the town. At its simplicity, yes, and that's what I think why it makes a good D&D story, and why you can take elements from it into your own D&D stories. But
Especially as a monster hunting D&D
Yeah.
story, which is as a big trope in D&D as either a main plot or a subplot that's happening.
right, but a town is being beset by this killer shark, and it is the chief of police, Chief Brody. There's a scientist called Matt Hooper, and then there's the shark expert Quint, the sailor who are the three.
Very Ahab quoted from Moby Dick.
Exactly.
Very
Yeah.
looking for the one that got away.
Yeah, and the three have to work together on a boat to kill this shark.
With vastly different personas, which brings us to the first part.
Yeah.
How would you start this as a cold opening? So for cold openings for us, when we are DMing, it's how we bring the characters into the world or immerse them into it. We both have very different styles.
Right.
In the original movie, it starts off with a bunch of teenagers partying on the beach, getting drunk. A girl swims out and does not come back in after we watch her visibly get eaten by this shark alive.
Eaten by this shark. And because Jaws is my favorite movie, I always like adding cold opens like this to my campaigns, as you know. So whenever there's a monster that's attacking the town, I like to introduce the horror element by just doing a cold open scene where you describe this unknown monster, and you don't have to do that much detail because, like in Jaws, you don't see the shark at first, but there's sounds. There could be footsteps, but there's basically this underwater force that's attacking this girl, and then you cut to what I would call if we did this as a D&D story, the call to action, which I would set at actually the city council meeting, which is when the town and the businesses are arguing whether there is an actual shark and whether the shark needs to be killed. And there's also a mayor who doesn't believe that there's a shark. And what I would do if I were to actually D&D-ify this was put our 3 player characters in the city council and have them be the ones called to action.
I think ours are pretty similar. You do much more cold openings where
Yeah.
you'll open with a scene that none of the players are currently in yet.
Right.
Where I kind of usually just I put everyone to the fire immediately.
Yeah.
They're in the story. For me, I think I would do it of 2 ways.
Yeah.
Either one, they are some of the people at the party and make it a college or an adult theme party
That would be
so
fun.
that they witness
Yeah.
the thing that went on. So there's a
Yeah.
reason to be afraid, a reason to get really upset.
Yeah.
Or I would start off very kind of fast forward just a little bit in the storyline where everyone's enjoying a day at the beach and the tourists are there.
Okay.
And then they are
That
part
shark
of the
is-
group of people that watch what happens.
So you would start it at the beach.
I would start at the beach, I think.
Oh, okay.
And then they would be brought into
Yeah.
the city council meeting where, for me, they would meet the second villain of the story.
which we're going to talk about.
Which is definitely the mayor.
Yeah.
And have them start building that animosity
Yeah.
and that anger that pretty is well known. I think some players get very angry, especially towards, I think a common theme of mine is the government is usually the problem
Right.
in stories. And that's a way for me to get the animosity
Yeah.
going, is them not really being listened to.
Yeah, and you can have your mayor or figure in the town that calls them to action. You can have them be an antagonistic character, and you've done that before in the past.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Sundown in Durango Town, the mayor's a little bit shady in that.
Mm-hmm.
Your mayor can be someone who says, "Oh, there is no monster. You guys don't have to worry," and that's why the players do feel like, "Oh no, we definitely need to take down this shark."
Yeah.
I have a question for.
Yeah.
What's up, Goblin number 1?
So I'm thinking character sheets. How do you define your classes? Specifically, how would you define a class for a shark?
Oh, stat block for a shark.
Stat block for the shark. So I think we both make custom.
Yeah.
So what do you use to make your custom? I use D&D 5e stat block, which is like a free like template
Okay.
that I use that to build mine. Is that what you use for yours, or is it different?
I look at the monster manual and pick pictures that I like, and then I will maybe up or down their hit points and armor class based on how I feel what level the players are.
That's fair. I think for me, I would start off with a megalodon.
Okay.
There is a megalodon monster stat
Yeah.
block, and then I would adjust to whatever we started with. Because I think for me, I want the players not. So the hard part is picking levels. I
Yes.
think, because you don't want the players to one shot this thing.
Yeah.
Which being, I don't think I'd hit anywhere past maybe 10.
And you start your players so high.
I
also.
feel like it's more fun.
you start your players so ridiculously high all the
It's
time.
not ridiculous. I think I would start maybe 10, or I think it could be interesting where everyone's at different levels depending on what they are.
Yeah.
I feel like
Ah.
for me that's
Yeah.
works sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I think if
sometimes-
everyone enjoys playing with each other, yeah. Or else
Yeah.
like some people will feel like they are overpowering the monster, and some people will be on the sidelines dying. And
Where would you start?
I like 5. 5 was always a good number for people.
There's so little.
Yeah, I like 5. Don't do 1. 1 is everyone has kitten hands. I like starting players 2 to 5 so that they have some neat spells.
Mm-hmm.
It also depends on how experienced the players are.
It does, yeah.
You know, if you're definitely playing with beginner players who never played D&D for the first time, level 2 is, I think, preferred.
I always start my newer plays at level 5.
Ridiculous.
They get they need a taste of the
Yeah,
magic.
imagine being new to D&D and you put me as a magical girl warlock on level 10 and
You
expect
did-
me to know
you-
what to do.
You did fine, by the way.
Which
for
is why
what-
also warlock is the best class, because it's easy and you just eldritch blast everybody.
I disagree. It's wizard, but that'll be a different conversation.
Imagine
different
a
video.
new player doing a level 10 wizard.
It's fine. It's been done. But the stat block for sure for me would be a megalodon,
Yeah.
and I would kind of go from there. A shark,
That
because
makes
you
sense.
don't. The main appeal of Jaws, it's a shark.
Right.
It's an animal that is not supposed to have a vendetta.
Yeah.
But this shark kind of does have a vendetta against
Oh, yeah.
everyone. It is hunting.
It is definitely a higher intelligence animal than a low CR shark.
Yeah, it's gonna have some intelligence checks. So like, it's not just gonna have a 0 or a
Yeah.
-1. It's gonna have, I would say, like a +2
Yeah.
to intelligence minimum.
You can even buy like a shark like toy from the dollar store.
That's what
This
I
would be
have for
great.
sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, I actually have the Jaws popcorn bucket. I just stick that on the board.
Well, that would be great.
So it's just massive.
And then when players die, or
you
they
put
can
them in the
go-
bucket.
yeah,
That's
put
when you
them in the
shut it.
bucket.
That's the end.
Speaking of players, then, what class do you think all the characters are in Jaws?
Oh, okay. So let's start off with Chief Brody.
Okay.
Chief Brody's the sheriff character.
Yeah.
So he's the one that is, where the whole town's like, no, ignore it. We need the tourist money. He's the one that is very afraid of the water.
Okay.
Afraid of like getting in the water. Afraid of the shark.
Yeah.
He has to overcome so much fear.
Right.
But he has a huge sense of duty to
Okay.
protect. Paladin.
Wow. Okay.
Because
That's different from my answer. You go.
That's it. Paladins have a sense of justice. Paladins are known for their sense of justice.
Okay.
And I feel like he has such an honor-bound duty to protect not only his town, but his family.
Mm-hmm.
It's a driving force for him.
Okay.
Now, would I say he'd be praying to God all the time? Probably not as
Yeah.
much, but Paladins don't have to be this big religious character the whole
What
time.
type of paladin would you put him as?
Oh, let's see. Not Oath of the Conquest. Which is the one where it's just like Oath of Protection.
Oh, the protect.
Oath
Okay,
of
yeah, because
Protection.
he's trying to protect the town.
Yeah,
That makes
that's
sense.
how you do that.
And I think his goal as a character, or his player would say that his goal is to protect the town. And really his, as we talked in a previous video or an upcoming video it might be, he wants to protect the town, but what he needs is for, to get over his fear of water, which could also be a fun thing that maybe the player came up with, that he's afraid of water, that he has a phobia of water and it's a shark one shot.
And that's so fun. He's gonna be stuck on a boat soon.
I was originally saying ranger.
Ranger.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think especially since at the end he kills that
Yes.
shark from afar. It could be like favored enemy is shark or something equivalent, a fiendish shark.
Okay.
Favored terrain is anything but water,
Anything
and
but
playing
water.
into it being a weakness of his. If not him, we'll talk about the other character that also could be ranger because it's also a favored enemy. But
Yeah. It would be.
who would you put the scientist Matt Hooper as?
Oh, So the obvious answer most people is smart pants, smarty person is usually a wizard.
I wanted a wizard too.
They're very
I was
intelligent.
saying wizard.
I wouldn't. I
Okay.
think I'd put him as a cleric.
Okay.
Because his whole thing is that he's in the town investigating
Yeah.
and trying to figure out what's going on. I'd probably put him as a cleric with a background in anthropology
Okay.
to then give him a reason to have such knowledge about animals and stuff like that, as well as just the fact that he's trying to, in a sense, fix the town
Okay.
by healing it and working
Yeah.
it through. Plus, he's just got so much more knowledge in the field of being underwater, working in the field.
Yeah.
He has so much more knowledge than our other two characters about taking care of themselves
Yeah.
that I feel like he's taking care of everyone a little too much.
Uh-huh.
And that's what kind of cost him at
He's
times.
very much that innocent cleric new to town that no one takes seriously.
And he's so frustrated.
Yeah.
Now, clerics don't always have to be nice. That is a trope that does not always have to happen. A cleric can be a very mean person. And in this case, he's frustrated. He's frustrated. No, it's the healing. Let me heal you before you die. Stop
Okay.
running away without me.
Yeah.
That was what's going on with this character. So I feel like he's just the cleric of the group, just trying to
Okay.
make his way through life.
He could have healed the remains of the girl in that
He
bucket.
could have, but he did not. He was not there at the time.
He's not trained enough yet. Not enough high level of a cleric. Maybe at 10 he could have.
Maybe a 10.
When does Revivify happen? Could you revivify?
Oh, God, I don't know.
The
No,
young
I would say
girl
he
who's-
shows up at least a week later.
Okay.
Because that's the one character that comes from out of town in.
Yes.
So he's the big outsider of the group as well.
Okay. His need is definitely someone who wants more information of the shark, but what he wants is for the town to take him seriously, which I think goes with clerics are always the one that like take me seriously in the
And
group.
no one ever does.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it. I can see it.
But what would you pick for him?
I was gonna go wizard, but
You're
your,
gonna-
I like your answer more now.
No, why would you pick wizard?
Studies.
Yeah,
He's the knowledge
well.
one. He definitely reads as more of the book smart nerd of like really pretty much any media.
Oh, God, yes.
And then Quint, the shark expert, the sailor.
The Ahab that has a
Yeah.
real big need to just get this monster.
I was thinking either ranger with favorite enemy as the shark or something fiendish shark. Barbarian, maybe?
Those are the two I was going with as well.
Yeah.
The ranger, just because of the like what he's using to kill, he got this giant harpoon.
Yeah.
And that's a ranged weapon, so that does make sense.
Okay.
And the only enemy he really hunts that we've seen throughout the entire movie,
Yeah.
he's got, and like they go to his shop and he's just got
All the shark.
so many shark heads, so much shark teeth that
Yeah.
he's just killed a bunch of sharks. This is like one thing that he goes for. It makes sense with ranger, but his rage
Yeah.
is very barbarian. I think for me, if I gave him a race for the class as well, it'd be dwarf.
Oh,
A
that
really
yeah,
angry barbarian dwarf,
Right.
or a ranger dwarf that's just full of rage, because he's very liquored up the whole time in the movie as well. It just makes sense for him as a character. And I see that we kind of agreed on that one.
I definitely would see that. And then the player that's playing him is definitely the guy with the most angsty backstory for him. And then he would basically calm everyone down during the campfire and tell them about the backstory of how the shark killed his family, killed his friends, killed,
The shark is a menace to society.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that one player at the table that's like, but no, it's an animal. It doesn't know what it's doing. And that's fair. But no, this is going to be character like, no, it's evil.
Yeah.
There's an evil presence on this shark and it needs to be dealt with.
Right. So then throughout the movie, then what are some of like the ability checks that you would pick out? I think in a one shot, what I like to do is look at all the different ability checks like animal handling or survival and figure out scenes that would be useful for those. Because you want people that are playing different classes to have something to do. So something animal handling, something nature. What would you have used in this story, do you think?
Well, let's break it down. So like there's the beginning. So there's the beach scene, the being in the council meeting. So there's going to be heavy persuasion checks at the city council meeting.
Yeah.
A lot of it's going to be using, so if you have a bard character, maybe someone wants to play a bard, the city council meeting is their place to shine.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a lot of charisma checks, a lot of persuasion
Warning
checks,
people to stay away from the beaches.
performances,
Yeah.
making the signs. That would be where like my characters that are more into charismatic and social situations really shine. Once we start moving into the boat, which is going to be my favorite thing in the world, is when I think one of the characters, I think Quentin will specifically, will need water vehicle capabilities.
Okay.
So I think a lot of survival checks will be done.
Yeah.
Sleight of hand checks because there's a lot of rope tying and making sure things are done and that they lower the cage.
Yeah. Nature maybe to sense
lot of
the
nature.
weather.
Knowing how to chum, knowing how to do all these different things, but also there's going to be a lot of dexterity saving throws because on a boat, it's a small boat.
Yeah.
you have to walk on the outer edges quite often to be careful. And if you're not watching yourself, and especially for the character that's water phobic, that is going to be a dire situation at any choices, any dexterity, acrobatic, or athletics check.
Right.
Because one slip, they've hit the thing they fear most in the world, which brings in our wisdom saving throws.
Oh yeah, like if you're dragged into the water, I think unfortunately Clint did not succeed in his 3
No, he definitely got nat ones across the board on that one.
I think the scientist Matt Hooper stealth checks. He went down and he
Yes, he did.
He probably hid down there, and yet somehow kept succeeding in stealth checks. Where I feel like it's ridiculous that the shark didn't know he was down there.
It was wild that this little scientist, or in our case, the cleric,
Yeah.
is just underwater chilling.
Yeah.
He's got the full air tank, and I've had players that do that. Well, they'll just be like, I'm not doing that, and that's exactly what happened.
He only wants to heal. He doesn't have any that much tax
stay down there and do my business, and that's the end of the thing.
And then luckily, Chief Brody is the one that saves the day. He, after a couple of tries, he was able to one-shot the shark.
Which is very much like D&D, where you roll and you keep failing.
Yeah.
I have that experience a lot with Minerva. I'll keep rolling and failing, but one hit and I'm good.
Yeah. And then when the DM asks, how do you want to do this? Basically comes up with the greatest thing of you blowing up the shark.
And then, of course, perfect D&D comedy, then the cleric just pops from water.
This is actually,
this
is a D&D story.
This is, entirely. And then, another part I want to talk about is, vilifying the shark. So the shark's pretty easy. He's eating people.
Yeah.
I always like to have a secondary villain,
Okay.
and for me, it's the mayor.
Okay.
How would you vilify the mayor, or do you even see him as like a major villain?
In a D&D story, like secondary villain where maybe he's just convincing people that there's no harm, and maybe because of that consequences, people get eaten, villagers get eaten, would you make him like an evil mage that's controlling the shark? Is that what you're hinting at?
For me, it's always capitalism.
Oh, okay.
And you know what draws people to sharks, draw people to beaches nowadays? Like those tornado chasers? They're shark chasers.
Okay.
And if that's a big trophy, especially a shark of that magnitude, I think that he would kind of be okay with some people getting eaten.
Okay.
And the tourist attraction would turn into a shark tourist trap.
Yeah.
Versus what it is right now, because beach touristry is kind of like this short season.
Okay.
Sharks are around all season.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I turn him into this like greedy, hungry, like mayor type.
Yeah.
That really wants to like have an all-around season, because fortunately beach towns don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that was his way to lure people in. Now, did he intend for so many people to get eaten?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he intended that at all.
So he's definitely one of those like morally gray characters that then his intentions went awry, basically.
I do admit that I do play my capitalist characters a little goofy. From Expendables.
This is like or Sundown in Durango Town.
Yeah,
this mayor is very similar to your mayor.
They're very Doug Dimmadome, or they always got the big veneers and like the stupid faces. I always play them. To me, that much greed is comical. But it's such a great way to get players immediately rallied against something and immediately want to end it.
Okay.
Though that might bite me in the butt, because sometimes they would likely save the shark to then feed the mayor to the shark.
Yeah.
Or try to make the shark a pet.
Maybe that's how it ended.
And that's could be how it goes.
Yeah. Or maybe, if they make the shark a pet, you need that secondary villain to kind of clean things up and be someone that they can fight at the end. Again, we're talking if this was like a one-shot episode.
Yeah, and I think that's going to make it the most fun, though. It's a very summery episode, too, so it gets you in the mood to want to go out.
Yeah, I can definitely see doing this in the summer with some popsicles and beach-themed props.
What would you make for food?
Oh, thank you. I think nowadays the trend with all this Jaws anniversary stuff is making the drinks that have the shark head and that you spill some grenadine into it, so it looks like there's blood spilling into it. I would do that.
I do like making cocktails. I like making drinks. You like making food. I think that's how it goes. I think I would do a blue raspberry vodka mixed with what is it? Blue curacao.
Oh, okay.
And then just give it a little shark floaty.
Yeah.
And you can chum it with some Swedish fish.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cute.
I think that's how we would do it.
I can already see you doing the cupcakes too.
Cupcakes with some brown sugar sand or something.
Oh, that would be delightful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, and we hope to do more of this series in the future.
Yeah, I just want to talk about movies all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things too, is when you're new to DMing or even experienced DMing, once you start consuming media, you start observing hey, that would make a good ability check, or hey, that would be a good monster to use in my campaign. You'll start, when you start noticing things in the media you consume, the TV shows you watch, and the movies you view, you'll actually become a greater DM for it. I can say that.
I think so. For me, my inspirations come from a lot of books and movies, because as a DM, you don't have to be always original. Don't get me wrong. We enjoy homebrewing quite a bit, but doing modules is also a very great way to get people together and bring community when you start. Look out for inspiration everywhere. For us, it's movies, and right now Jaws is one of our favorite ones right now. So look out for our, I guess, shark one-shots coming out soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.